Hello everyone, my name is Erin Ferris and I'm from the upstate location. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about motor skill development in children and how to incorporate Play-Doh to help develop their fine motor skills. So we are going to start off with the types of motor skills, just so that we have an understanding of each. So first, gross motor skills are the development of large muscles in a child's body. These are the muscles that allow them to sit, stand, walk, run, amongst other activities such as skipping, hopping, and those things. Next, we have fine motor skills. This is the development of small muscles in a child's body, especially their hands. These allow for much smaller movements to be performed and executed. So this can be anything from writing their name, building a block tower, utilizing Legos, things like that. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to be focusing more on fine motor skills. But first, I'm going to go over the 3 stages of motor learning. So the first stage is the cognitive stage. This is where the child is gathering information and actually processing that information. It is also called the verbal motor stage. This stage is verbal cognitive in nature because it involves the conveyance, which is the verbal portion, and acquisition, which is cognition, of new information. The person is trying to process information in an attempt to cognitively understand the requirements and parameters of motor movement. There are 2 characteristics that describe this stage of motor learning: large gains in performance and inconsistent performance. So during this stage, instruction, guidance, specific drills, and constructive feedback is important to ensure the child's development is improved. Making errors and learning how to improve and correct those errors can be very important during this stage. The next stage is the associative stage. This is the stage where the child is actually putting actions together. During this stage, they are making smaller gains in performance, but they are making a conscious effort to adjust their movements to perfect them each time. This stage is also called the motor stage, because the problem being solved here is learning how to actually perform the skill. From here, we will reach the autonomous stage. This is the final stage of motor acquisition. This often requires many years and much practice to actually reach this final stage. The performance in this stage seems almost unconscious, automatic, and much smoother than the previous 2 stages. This is when the body automatically processes information and quickly responds to it. So that was a quick overview of the 3 stages of motor learning. Next, we are going to move on to the 5 motor skill developments. First, we have construction. This skill promotes hand and finger strength. This is where the child is learning to play with Legos, puzzles, and often jars that have screw lids to help them work on their construction skills. From there, we have the pencil skill. This is commonly practiced in the classroom during academic activities. This is when the child is regularly using pencils and pens to master object manipulation and have controlled use of everyday objects such as a toothbrush or hairbrush. The pencil skill development also helps teachers understand their students' hand dominance so that they can reinforce its use more frequently. From here, we have IT skill development. Typing and moving a mouse around will help improve IT skills. Also, manipulating a stylus will help develop these fine motor skills. Often we see children watching videos on a tablet or iPad. This is not a form of IT skill development, as they are not utilizing their hands during the activity. Next, we have scissor skill development. This helps with hand-eye coordination by processing the information seen from the eyes and directing it to the hands to perform the specific task. This also enhances their finger strength to help with more fine motor skills in the future. Our last fine motor skill development here is self-care. This motor skill is important in teaching children how to tie up their shoes, fasten their seatbelts, open lunch boxes, and many more. So as you can see, it is important to incorporate all 5 fine motor skills when playing with your children to help improve overall development. After this presentation, you'll see a short video on how to make DIY Play-Doh at home. But first, we are going to talk about why it is important for children to play with Play-Doh. First, it helps with hand-eye coordination. While playing with the dough, children work to create different objects which assist with hand-eye coordination. Next, it helps with strengthening the hand muscles. This will later help with the pincer grasp, which allows them to actually hold on to a pencil and manipulate it in writing their name and other words that they may learn in school. Playing with Play-Doh also helps with creativity and imagination. This is extremely important for cognitive flexibility, and it allows them a way to express their ideas. Lastly, science and math. Measuring the ingredients, mixing them together, and experimenting and predicting the outcome allows children to learn more about cause and effect. This can also help them learn some new vocabulary, such as grainy, smooth, lumpy, and many other words that come along with utilizing Play-Doh. Our next slide shows all of the ingredients and directions to make the at-home DIY Play-Doh. Continue watching for a brief demonstration on how to make the Play-Doh at home. All of the ingredients are edible, but I do not recommend eating them, but they are safe for all ages. Hey everyone, today we're going to be making a DIY Play-Doh. So to work on those motor skills a little bit with the younger ones. So we're going to start out with our ingredients. I already have some of them prepared here. We have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of salt, 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. We will need a half a cup of water, and then 2 to 3 drops of food coloring if you have any. If not, I will give an alternative option for that. I'm actually going to just use a natural juice that I have here at home to hopefully give it a little bit of color there. So we're going to start off by mixing the 1 cup of flour with the half a cup of salt. We're going to just mix these two up until they are incorporated. So nice and smooth. All right, we're going to get a half a cup of warm water as well. So I'm going to grab that. Slowly stir all that in together. So it will be a little bit sticky, a little clumpy at first, but that's okay. We're stirring. We're going to add that 1 tablespoon of oil in as well. So slowly pour that over top, helping to loosen everything up just a bit here. And then, like I mentioned, for my food coloring, I'm actually going to be using, it's acai juice, so it should give it a little bit of a purple tint. And it is okay to use your hands here, as long as they're clean. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, and I'm just going to do about a tablespoon, a little bit more. And I'm gonna start mixing with my hands just to get it kneaded a little bit better and all mixed up, nice and incorporated together here. Again, the dough may be a little bit sticky to start off with. As it sits, that salt will start to absorb some of that additional moisture and will help the dough actually come into the Play-Doh format that we're all used to. So since I'm using a natural juice here, the color is not extremely vibrant, but it does give it a little bit of a tint. You can always add more juice or more food coloring to intensify that color a little bit. And then at the end of all of this, if the dough still feels sticky after it's sat for about 5 minutes, you can start to add a little bit of flour at a time. So I'd say about 2 tablespoons. Mix it all together, see if that helps the stickiness and turns it into more of that dough feeling that we're all used to again. So as you'll see, it's a very faint, very faint purple, but this is what the dough will look like. It's easy to break apart, form into little balls or snakes, whatever you prefer. But that is it. So hopefully you guys have fun with it.